I said thanks
You haven't been
in this
allowed.
cabinet.
You haven't been allowed.
In this
He
cabinet.
gave you,
I
this
said,
stupid president,
No, it's about to get
$350
real over
billion.
here with
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military
See what's going
equipment,
on.
and you men are brave, but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me.
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
in 3
okay?
days. I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks. Of course,
It's
yes.
going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
Accept
times
that there, accept
to
that,
American people.
accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
that
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers. Listen,
Don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting
Of
killed.
course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a
But I
ceasefire.
said to you.
I want a
With
ceasefire
guarantees.
because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That
It
wasn't
doesn't
with
matter for
me.
you what.
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was with
wasn't you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
with,
this
that
is
was with
your president.
Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you
but
saying?
what
She's
if
asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe he did. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if he can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right, we'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thanks, sir. We'll see. I don't.
All right, so showing that replay once again here on RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez alongside Robert McNeely and Carolyn Levitt, the White House press secretary. Robert just posted on X, quote, President Trump and Vice President Vance are standing up for the American people, end quote.
And there's no question about that. As he mentioned to President Zelenskyy, we gave you javelins, Obama gave you sheets. Without the United States, they would not have been able to put up the resistance to the Russian Federation. And this is actually very fitting this all happened, given Vice President Vance's earlier speech about American foreign policy and really taking the military-industrial complex to task. And even Congressman Chris Smith brought up earlier today in that Catholic breakfast, what about the Armenian Christians? What about South Sudan and ISIS, who are literally beheading members of the Christian community? What about the mistakes in foreign policy, like entering Iraq? When you look at that, that was historic Mesopotamia. Many of the Christian community were infected and impacted by that unintentionally, but many of those ancient cities and civilizations being destroyed because of even globalist foreign policies coming from Republican and Democrat previous administrations. So a very fitting day for the Trump-Vance foreign policy.
And this, you have to remember, while we were watching that replay, Robert and I were talking about, you know, those American flag lapels. Well, I'm wearing one. He's wearing one. You don't see Ukraine on our lapel here. That, unfortunately, was worn by many in Congress. While they were happy that Zelenskyy would stand up there and speak to a joint session of Congress. What? Are you serious, right? So, but we also talked about the Ukrainian people.
Hey, team, how are you?
People that want to be free, just like we are here in this nation. So this isn't against the nation of Ukraine and the people there. This is against the corrupt leadership. So just like we see corruption in our government and it's getting, you know, taken care of in our country, there's a corrupt situation in other countries with leadership like this guy who has done a lot wrong.
And remember, this is a man who suspended free and fair elections due to this war, who's taken wartime authority and really taken advantage of that. And in a lot of ways is somewhat of a dictator of Ukraine. And it's true, the culture, the Russian people as well, wonderful historic cultures that we actually share a lot with in common. But it's sad that we had both on the Republican and Democrat aisles in the height of this Ukrainian conflict, former speakers of the House wearing the Ukrainian flag with no American pin. That should never happen again.
And those of you watching right now that are floored by what you just saw, you probably saw it twice. We played it for you twice. Obviously, it'll be all over the place. That the world is going to see that, and not only the English language. I mean, even though that is now being signed as the official language of the United States, President Trump to sign an executive order on that. But in very many languages around the country, that this is going to be seen today. And those of you, if you want to react on the chats right now to what you just saw, I know that a lot of you already did, but quite powerful situation there. And before we get to our sponsors, this is the second time now in this administration that President Trump has really shut down someone that was really coming against the will of the American people and the majority of the country. When you look at the main governor,
okay, was it me or was it the last time he came?
When he shut her down, now he shuts Zelenskyy down. But he's saying, "Hey, we're here to help. But if you're going to have a problem with that, we're out." So two parts of President Trump, the OG of President Trump of the first administration. Man, it was wild to watch that here. I know a lot of you are floored at 1:02 p.m. Let's go to some of our great sponsors here at the network, Tax Network USA. 800-357-1415 is the number.
Yes, an outstanding group of people to rely on as tax day is right around the corner, April 15th. Can you believe it's moving so quickly? But make sure you settle your back taxes today. Give them a call, 800-357-1415, or visit tnusa.com/RSBN. We know that the Biden administration hired nearly 88,000 IRS agents. Many might be sent to the border to help the Army Corps of Engineers, the Marines, doing great work at that border. And you showed that earlier in the broadcast today, some of the continued work on the wall down south. But in the meantime, protect your assets. tnusa.com/RSBN. The Patriot experts at Tax Network USA Incorporated, ready to help you before tax day.
Let's go to mybrightcore.com/RSBN. If you buy 2 of the Kimchi One products, you get 1 free. So 2 and you get 1 free there. mybrightcore.com/RSBN. Obviously a great probiotic when it comes to gut health. Kimchi One there, immune support, anti-aging properties. We did interview Kim Bright the other day, so it was great to see her on the interview. talking about Make America Great Again and making America healthy again.
Oh, yes. And a great way to get your day started, whether it's extra focus at work or just spending more time and being present for those loved ones in your life. But yeah, buy two, get one free, mybrightcore.com/RSBN, or give them a call, 888-722-0936. Made in the USA, kimchi by Brightcore.
Exactly. So mybrightcore.com/RSBN. It's 1:04 Eastern time. This is the time that is slated for an East Room press conference with President Trump and the Ukrainian leader, Volodymyr Zelenskyy. So as you see on the bottom of your screen, as soon as we get that, we'll be going there live. That's if these guys can somewhat get along. I mean, because at the end of the day, we saw a very tough situation there at the Oval Office. How will Zelenskyy come out now at the press conference? That's the question.
Right. And I don't assume this will happen. I can't remember the last time, but we know President Trump will walk away. He said in the Oval Office, if you don't agree to these terms, the United States is walking. So this is minerals that will be very great for our country, things that we need that can actually power little things like this, your device, these crucial minerals that Ukraine is known for and rich in, wheat, also
honestly, all the money we have siphoned
really need to go into effect because, as President Trump said, he sent the javelins. Without President Trump, they would not have had a shot against Vladimir Putin's army. They were too powerful. Now, granted, the Ukrainian military has been quite brave and has stood up against the Russian Federation, but now it's at a stalemate of over 1.5 million people dying. That's military and civilians. The killing needs to stop. And President Trump said if we completely exit out of this, the United States, it's going to be really an ugly end for Ukraine. And I fully agree with that based on Vladimir Putin's determination. The man wants the ports back. He wants old territories back. And this is even dating back before the USSR. If you know anything about Russian history, they actually had even more land than they do now. And it is the largest landmass in the world of one sovereign nation, over 8 time zones that it takes up. So it's in Europe and Asia. They're in 2 continents. So this is a huge landmass to begin with. A lot of it you cannot live there because it's too cold, but you have that happening. Just an amazing thing to think about.
And also in Ukraine, I didn't know that the amount of wheat actually that they export is as huge here in the United States from Ukraine. I remember a tour of a factory who was doing a story about a local business in Pennsylvania and their food products that are actually served on various airplanes, good, trail mix bars, that kind of stuff. They said, yeah, we get our wheat from Ukraine. And this was during, a lot of different things happening. So just about literally 60 seconds ago, the White House on X simply says, President Donald J. Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance put America first. They're putting America first. And it's showing a clip of what we just showed you, the back and forth. It was interesting to see because wasn't it Vice President Vance that really came to the aid there and started talking more intensely with the Ukrainian leader?
It was a very organic moment, and he seemed actually personally offended by the way he was conducting himself, even prior to moving into the Oval Office. There clearly was something brewing there of a disagreement, and Vice President J.D. Vance really let the Ukrainian president have it and called out the point too. You were with Governor Josh Shapiro campaigning for the other team at a weapons facility in Pennsylvania. And Governor Shapiro signed that missile along with Zelenskyy. Why would you sign something that can go and create collateral damage? And it's so fitting because of earlier today, if you caught the vice president's address to that Catholic breakfast earlier in Washington, D.C. today, his core point was talking about failed missions in American foreign policy, i.e. Iraq, i.e. Vietnam, the things that have happened over the course of the last half century where we have moved in and we've made mistakes and it's ended up harming traditional Christian communities throughout those regions. That's just a fact. It's what the CIA calls blowback. And even President Eisenhower spoke on it. The military-industrial complex has a mission, has a goal. And a lot of times it's simply making money, and that means war. And this is not something that President Trump nor Vice President Vance wants. So I'm glad he called out Governor Shapiro. I'm glad he called out Vladimir Zelenskyy in the Oval Office, because how dare you walk into our turf and acts high on the hog when this country has supported you with billions and billions in tax money for the last administration.
You need
and
help
because
to fight,
of President Trump, who gave you the javelins in the first place.
And on top of that,
look,
you know,
I'm trying to
some
fight,
of you
but I
may
need
have
some
seen
help
on social media some of the videos of Zelensky's homes and these big, massive things that are purchased. And is that our tax dollars? Might be. And that's why I'm thank God for Doge and thank God for President Trump and JD Vance, the vice president.
Is it our tax dollars?
What you just saw there, whether on our network, of course, it's going to get a lot of replays and a lot of numbers and all that. But across the board, all over the world, that video of what we just saw is going to be quite, you know, mostly it's those big interviews, you know, when, you know, somebody interviews like President Trump or whatever, and you get these big numbers. That right there, out of nowhere, we didn't know that was going to happen in that kind of way. So a lot of views today for that. That just happened within the hour. Let's go to patriotaddictdeals.com, patriotaddictdeals.com. Many, many products on this website, including the Trump combat knife there. You can go to a QR code, use the RSBN code, and Robert, 30% off. I mean, that's quite a percentage.
An outstanding item for your man cave or your MAGA office to showcase your support for President Trump. And that's a great deal on there. And this website has some really outstanding deals. But another thing I can attest to this, once these items are gone, they're gone. And it will take a while to come back. So scan that QR code now, claim that 30% off with RSBN30, an easy code to remember, a great discount, and show everyone just how you feel about how proud you are with this administration, with this last campaign, November 5th of 2024, Liberation Day for America, and a great way to either, if you're taking it out hunting or just displaying it in your office, I think it's a good token for everything you support with the MAGA agenda.
Exactly. We're seeing a lot of social media reports about the I don't know if I want to call it aftermath, but the conclusion of that wild fireworks display in the Oval Office there. Libs of TikTok 2 minutes ago saying the Ukrainian ambassador to the United States is on the verge of tears after Trump and Vance bodied Zelenskyy, that, of course, from Libs of TikTok. And then, of course, another statement from President Trump where he said in this moment, you either make a deal or we are out. I mean, that is cut and dry. Mm-hmm. And it's, again, great to see the strength of a leader like this.
Right. It's the art of the deal in real time. And, you know, I'm sure that he will try to work through as much as he can. He is the consummate deal maker, but, you know, clearly that was great TV, as he put it. And he's up against, I think, his last ounce of patience. I mean, President Trump has been very good about reaching out to both Zelenskyy and Putin in this process. He's had it, and he's tired of the killing, and he's remained more consistent on this than any politician in Washington, D.C. I also believe that the Congress really needs to continue its investigation on who financially benefited from this war, including members of Congress, because there was too much excitement surrounding it. And really hats off to people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, to Matt Gaetz, those who remained consistent in the Freedom Caucus and said, put America first, not the Ukrainian government. And again, it's not the people, it's not the culture. We love them. We love the Russian people too. It's their governments that are extreme, totalitarian, and causing all of this heartache and pain.
To your point, can you believe that what you just said there? And I'm reflecting on it a little bit. You said that members of Congress, they were excited about this whole thing, wearing the Ukrainian flag and loving the fact that Zelenskyy was going to speak at this joint session of Congress that happened under Biden. So the fact is this: we don't have a president in office now that is pro starting any wars for any, you know what I mean? Like right. He is, he didn't start any new wars during the first administration. He wants peace. He wants the killing to stop. That's what we're looking for. That's what he wants. And that's what we voted for. So we, the people, want this to happen as well. Now, President Trump, when he has to call on a surgical strike to ISIS and things, okay, of course, you know, there's a lot of situations like that. So anyway, let's go to some other sponsors here at the network, as it's 1:13 Eastern. We're awaiting the now press conference from the East Room. Will we have the press conference? You kind of talked about it a little bit. You know, if there's no deal, President Trump is out. I spoke about it too, but does that mean that if Zelensky says I'm not going to sign this, do you think President Trump's going to want him at the East Room and have even a press conference?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I could see President Trump calling it all off. It's been unprecedented. I don't remember that or recall that in recent memory with any administration. But I think if they don't reach anything, maybe they come out and talk about that for a moment and then just walk away, because I think everyone's anticipating a follow-up for what happened in the Oval. But if there's no deal today, there's no deal. President Trump is willing to walk away. But I think what President Trump could add to spice up the deal, angelpaste.com. Maybe something that Mr. Zelensky would enjoy, since we're going to obtain all of his wonderful minerals and wheat, which we can use here in the United States. But angelpaste.com, think about this: non-GMO, no chemicals, vitamin B you can put on your hands. And we've tested it right here in the studio. And I had some really dry hands one day. And that miracle cream, within about 5 minutes or less, wow, I had beautiful, lovely hands after that. So they also have mosquito repellent that's all natural, and orange flavor that is good for immune deficiencies as well. They're out of Spring, Texas, Christian-based company, also hiring U.S. veterans. So one of the all-stars here, and they know a lot about those pesky mosquitoes being on the Gulf of America.
Exactly, they do. And also that a lot of different products on angelpaste.com. Use that RSBN promo code for angelpaste.com. And to your point, Gulf of America, was great to interview an owner of a company there called Gulf of America Outfitters. It was a live interview from the actual Gulf of Mexico. So if you guys missed that, it's on from a couple of days ago, some live coverage there. Okay. So what we're going to do is now show the entire meeting with Vladimir Zelensky and President Trump. I guess that before was the media segment of the reporters with the questions and answers. So, producer, is that right, that we're going to something that happened prior to the fireworks situation? Okay, so what we're hearing is this is the entire meeting with the Ukraine leader and our great president, the one that's an outsider, President Trump. Take a look.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have President Zelensky of Ukraine. And we've been working very hard, very close. So we've actually known each other for a long time. We've been dealing with each other for a long time, and very well. We had a little negotiation spat, but that worked out great. I think for both countries, I think for the world, actually, beyond both countries. And we have something that is a very fair deal. And we look forward to getting in and digging and working and getting some of the rare earth. But it means we're going to be inside, and it's a big commitment from the United States, and we appreciate working with you very much. And we will continue to do that. We have had some very good discussions with Russia. I spoke with President Putin, and we're going to try and bring this to a close. It's something that you want and that he wants. We have to negotiate a deal, but we've started the confines of a deal, and I think something can happen. The big thing is the number of soldiers, mostly at this point, but soldiers being killed. They're losing thousands of soldiers. So on both sides, we're losing a lot of soldiers, and we want to see it stop. And we want to see the money get put to different kinds of use, like rebuilding.
Every time you get involved.
And we're going to be working very hard. But we've had a lot of very good conversations. I will say, until we came along, the Biden administration didn't speak to Russia whatsoever. They didn't speak to anybody. They just allowed this to continue. And I will say that I'll say in front of you, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. If I were president, this war would have never happened. We would have had a deal negotiated for you without having to go through what you've gone through.
Go over there and live.
But your soldiers have been unbelievably brave. We've given them great equipment, but somebody has to use the equipment. They've been unbelievably brave, and we give them great credit. This was supposed to be over very quickly, and here we are 3 years later. So I give tremendous credit to your generals and your soldiers and yourself, in the sense that it's been very hard fighting, very tough fighting. They're great fighters, and you have to be very proud of them from that standpoint. But now we want to get it over with. It's enough, right? If we want to get it over with. So it's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much for coming. We're going to sign the agreement at the conference in the East Room in a little while. right after lunch. And we'll be having lunch together. We're also discussing some other things. And we appreciate everybody being here. It's somewhat of an exciting moment, but the really exciting moment is when they stop the shooting and we end up with a deal. And I think we're fairly close to getting that, and an honor to have you. And please, I'd like to say something.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you for invitation. And really, I hope that this first document will be first step to real security guarantees for Ukraine, our people, our children. I really count on it. And of course, we count that America will not stop support. Really, for us, it's very important to support and to continue it. I want to discuss it with details further during our conversation. And of course, the infrastructure or security guarantees. Because for today, I understand what Europe is ready to do. And of course, I want to discuss with you what United States will be ready to do. And I really count on your strong position to stop Putin. And you said that enough with the war. I think that is very important, Ben, to say these words to Putin at the very beginning of war, because he is a killer and terrorist. But I hope that together we can stop him. But for us, it's very important to, to save our country, our values, our freedom and democracy, and of course, no compromises with the killer about our territories, but it will be later. And of course, what I wanted, we spoke about it by phone with you about the drones production. We have very good drones production. I think the best one in the world for today because of the war. Yes, and of course, we need very much the air defense. You have the best air defense in the world, and really you helped us under attacks of Russians. And I want to speak how we can exchange the licenses. We're open to share the licenses of all our drones with you, of course, with the United States. And we need licenses for quick production of air defense. Even after the war, we need our nation to be calm, that we are secure. So that's why we need this air shield. And of course, about this, I want to speak about the contingents. I think that France and UK already spoke to you, and we know that Europe is ready, but without the United States, they will not be ready to be as strong as we need. And then the last point, last not least, about exchange, about our people and children. And you know that this crazy Russian, that they stolen 20,000 of children, Ukrainian children. They changed their names, they changed their families, relatives, and now they're in Russia. We want to bring them back. And really, it's a big dream, task, and goal for me and our warriors. By the way, Mr. President, we released more than 4,000 warriors from Russian prison, but there are thousands more in the prison. I wanted to share with you some images, how it's. I've just can I now?
Yeah, please.
Some minute, 1 minute. I just you to understand in what circumstances, in what situation they are, and what the attitude of Russia to our prisoners. That guys, just you before and after. And you see before and after, just you to understand. Now thousands of such guys, ladies and men, there. And that, so they don't eat, they beat them, and they, do a lot of bad things. So out of, even during the war, there are rules. Everybody knows there are rules during the war. So these guys, they don't have any rules. You see that 50, 60 kilograms left, and a lot of such things. And I didn't want to show you what the changes with images of children, because I will share with you. I mean, it's looking tragic.
Yeah, that's tough stuff.
I wanted very much to give you, and you see it.
Yeah.
This is pastor, by the way. They stolen pastors because it's not Russian church. They stolen pastors and moved pastors to the prison. We, at the end of last year, we brought 3 pastors, and we could exchange them. And this is pastor, you see.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So I mean, this I wanted to show you, and this. So thank you very much.
We want to get that ended, right?
Yeah, of course. We
And I
want.
think we will. I think we will. And
We have to, of course.
do you have any questions, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. With the, how much money is the U.S. going to put into the fund that is being created today? And how does this provide long-term security for Ukraine?
Well, we don't know exactly how much because we're going to be putting some money in a fund that we're going to get from the raw earth that we're going to be taking and sharing in terms of revenue. So it's going to be a lot of money will be made from the sale and from the use of raw earth. And as you know, our country doesn't have much raw earth. We have a lot of oil and gas, but we don't have a lot of the raw earth. And what we do have is protected by the environmentalists, but that can be unprotected, but still it's not very much. They have among the best in the world in terms of raw earth. So we're going to be using that, using it for all of the things we do, including AI and including weapons and the military. And it's really going to very much satisfy our needs. So it's something that just worked out really well. We have a lot of oil and we have a lot of gas. We have a lot, but we don't have raw earth. So this has just about every component of the raw earth that we need for computers, for all of the things we do.
And
This puts us in great shape.
And on long-term security for Ukraine. How does this provide?
I think they're going to have great luck. I think once we make the agreement, that's going to be 95% of it. They're not going to go back to fighting. I've spoken with President Putin, and I feel very strong. I've known him for a long time, and I feel very strongly that they're very serious about it, and we'll make a deal. And when the deal is made, I don't think we talk about security. Everyone's talking about the other day. All they talked about was security. I said, let me make the deal first. I have to make the deal first. I don't worry about security right now. We have to have a deal because right now, last week, 2,000 soldiers died on both sides. 2,000, and they're losing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a week. So as we sit here and we talk, people are getting shot and dying on the battlefield. And, you know, they're not American soldiers, but they're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers, and we want to be able to stop it. And we want to be able also to spend money on other things. We don't want to, this is a tremendous amount of money. And what the Biden administration did was terrible. They were giving money, but he had no security on the money. Europe, as you know, gave much less money, but they had security. It was in the form of a loan. They get their money back, and we didn't. And now, at least we're protected because the American taxpayer has to be protected too. But this is an incredible agreement for Ukraine because we have a big investment in their country now. And what they have, very few people have. And we're able to really go forward with very, very high-tech things and many other things, including weaponry that we're going to use in many locations, but that we need for our country.
Mr. President,
This allows us to do this.
Will you continue?
I'm sorry.
Military aid.
Yes, go ahead, please.
If I can just, yes. In the document, there is one of the very important points. If we speak about business and investment, we never had LNG terminals in Ukraine. This document will open. I mean, the next document, but anyway, here we see in the framework, we see really goodwill for this. LNG terminals for us is very important, and I think for security of European continent. We have the biggest storage, gas storage. We have the biggest in Europe. Yes, and we can use it. Use it for LNG, use it for LNG, and we will do it. And really, we can help Europe because Europe really helped. President Trump said that they made less support, but they are our friends and they are our very supportive partners. They really gave a lot, Mr. President. They did.
They gave a lot, but they gave much less.
No.
Much less.
No. 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 Okay.
Mr. President Trump, you have repeatedly called the deal with Ukraine as a historical one. And as a president of the United States, you make historical decisions in other issues which affect America and other world. So what place in the world history do you want to take And do you associate yourself with any famous historical figures?
Yeah, I'd say George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. I would say I'm far superior to George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Now, you know I'm only kidding, right? Because when I say that, the fake news is going to go wild. They're going to say he considers himself to be better than Washington, but you never know. You never know. I don't compare myself to anybody. I'm here to do a job. We've had a great 35 days or whatever it might be, a month, a little more than a month. We've accomplished tremendous amounts. Not only this would be a very great achievement if we could get the war stopped and get them back to normalization. I think that's going to happen. We've had very good talks on both sides, as you know, but I think we've done a very good job. Just generally, if you look at all of the things we've done in 30 days, they're saying there's never been a opening for a president. The first month, there's never been a first month like we've had. And this is one of the very important things. This to me is one of the most important things because we have tremendous death taking place as we speak. And I don't want to have that. You know, think of the parents, whether they're in Russia or Ukraine, think of the parents of all these people being killed needlessly.
They came to our territory.
Should have never started. If I were president, this would have never started.
Mr. President, will you continue sending military aid to Ukraine after the U.S. signs this agreement with Ukraine?
Yeah, we're going to be continuing.
President Zelenskyy, do you feel like the U.S. is on your side, that the President Trump is on your side at this moment?
What do you think?
He wants to know, do you think that, sort of a stupid question. I guess we wouldn't be here if I wasn't.
I think that the United States on our side from the very beginning of occupation, and I think that President Trump on our side, and of course, I'm sure that United States President will not stop support. This is crucial for us. It's important for us. Yes. And Putin, the president, speaks about the people and the soldiers which are dying, but they came to our territory, they came to our land. They began this war, and they have to stop. And I think this is the question, was really the most important question. Can President Trump, I hope yes, with some other allies, to stop Putin, withdraw these enemies, withdraw these troops from our land? And I think that you asked about the history. I think that if President, or when he will stop Putin, if President Trump will bring peace to our country, I think he will be on this wall.
We've had very, very good talks.
Mr.
President Zelenskyy just said that there will be no compromises with Vladimir Putin. I just wanted to ask both of you. Firstly, are there compromises that you think that President Zelenskyy is going to have to make? President Zelenskyy, is there anything that you might think they for example, elections? Thank you.
I think you're going to have to always make compromises. You can't do any deals without compromises. So certainly he's going to have to make some compromises, but hopefully they won't be as big as some people think you're going to have to make. That's all. That's all we can do. I'm here as an arbitrator, as a mediator to a certain extent between two parties that have been very hostile. It's been a vicious war. It's been a vicious war. You know, it's a very level battlefield, and bullets go out. And as I've said many times, we're talking about it with Pete. Many times, the only thing stopping those bullets is a human body. And in the case we're talking about, generally young human bodies are stopping a lot of bullets. It's dead level. That's why it's great farmland. It's great land. It's great farmland, but there's very little protection against the bullets that are and other things that are being shot. So all I can do is see if I can get everybody at the table and get an agreement. And I think we're going to end up with an agreement. Otherwise, I wouldn't probably be even here today.
Mr. President, I've got two questions for you. You think ultimately your legacy will be the peacemaker and not the president that led this country into another war and ended foreign wars? And I've got a question.
I hope it will. I mean, I hope I'm going to be remembered as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing if we could do this. I'm doing this to save lives more than anything else. Second is to save a lot of money, but I consider that to be far less important. So I hope I'm going to, thank you, Brian, for that question. It was a nice question. I hope I'll be known and recognized as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing to solve. This is a very dangerous situation. You know, this could lead to a third world war. This was headed in the wrong direction. If this election were lost, if we didn't win this election, and we won it by a lot, that was a mandate. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. We won everything. The districts, you look at the areas of red, take a look at a map. This was a big mandate. And this was one of the things I said, we're going to get this thing settled. If we didn't win, I think this could have very well ended up in a third world war. And that would not have been a good situation. What was your second
And
question?
my second question for President Zelenskyy, why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest, why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see people, do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting
I
the
don't have
dignity of this
such-
office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something like
maybe
this.
something like
Yes,
yours.
sir.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
President
Thank
Trump,
you.
thank you, President Trump. You said yesterday that you have.
Are you going to send more arms to Ukraine in case there's no peace?
Yeah, we're going to have arms to Ukraine. Yeah, sure. Hopefully I won't have to send very much because hopefully we're going to have it finished. We're looking forward to finishing this quickly. We're not looking forward to sending a lot of arms. We're looking forward to getting the war finished so we can do other things. But we very much appreciate the agreement because we needed what they had. And we're treating, our country is now treated fairly. Biden didn't do that. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. This should have never happened. This should have never started. But, sure, the answer is yes. But hopefully we won't have to send much because I'm looking forward to getting it done quickly, very quickly.
Does that mean you'll provide security guarantees, Mr. President?
I don't want to talk about security yet because I want to get the deal done. You fall into the same trap like everybody else. A million times you say it over and over. I want to get the deal done. Security is so easy. That's about 2% of the problem. I'm not worried about security. I'm worried about getting the deal done. The security is the easy part. Security is very nice. Everybody stopped shooting. And now will Europe put people there? I know France is going to. I know the UK is going to. I know other countries are going to, and they happen to be right next door. We haven't committed, but we could conceivably, we have security in a different form. We'll have workers there digging, taking the raw earth so that we can create a lot of great product in this country. So in that sense, you have something, but we haven't determined that yet. I will say, in speaking to France and in speaking to, and they were here, as you know, last week and just the other day, they have committed to a lot of security. I don't think you're going to need much security. I think once this deal gets done, it's over. Russia's not going to want to go back, and nobody's going to want to go back. When this deal ends, I really believe this deal is going to be over. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you. You had President Macron and Keir Starmer at the White House this past week, both of whom praised your courage and conviction to lead the pathway towards peace.
Yes.
Part of that involved, though, re-engaging Russia in diplomatic relations, something that previous leaders lacked the conviction to do so. What gave you the moral courage and conviction to step forward and lead that?
Well, I love this guy. Who are you with?
One American News, sir.
Well, that's why I like him. One American News does a great job. I like the question. I think it's a very good question. It's a pathway to peace. It's a pathway to getting something solved. And I feel that as the head of this country, I have an obligation to do that. Plus, we're very much involved. We got involved. It's too bad we got involved because there should have been no involvement because there should have been no war. And there shouldn't have been October 7th. That would have never happened. As you know, Iran was broke. They had no money to give to Hezbollah. They had no money to give to Hamas. They were stone cold broke. And then under Biden, they became rich as hell. They went from no money to $300 billion in a period of 4 years. And they gave a lot of that money away, and you see what happened. And that's a real mess also that we hope to be able to solve. But no, I appreciate your question very much. It's just, I feel I have an obligation to try and do something to stop the death.
If I can answer, yes, if I can answer,
Please,
sorry,
go ahead.
please.
And I do like your clothing, by the way.
Yeah, really?
Even though I have to, I think he's a
Yeah,
great guy,
yeah.
by the way. But I don't know if you two like each other, but you know what? I think
No,
he's dressed, I think he's
why?
dressed
I like this
beautifully.
guy.
I think he's dressed beautifully.
So I have more serious things than answer on side
Yeah,
question.
sure, that's
I will
okay.
answer on more
That's
serious
a good
question if
statement.
I can. Yeah, so please, about security guarantees and about just ceasefire. We can't just speak about ceasefire and speak. It will not work. Just ceasefire will not never work because I'm like the president. I have this experience, and not only me. Ukraine before my presidency, from the 2014, Putin broken 25 times. 25 times he broken his own signature. 25 times he broken ceasefire.
But he never broke to me. He never broke to me.
No, you were the president.
He
You
never
were the
broke-
president
He
during.
never broke to me.
In 2016, you've been the president, Mr. President. You've been the president, but he had, of course, not with you. but
Okay,
he
if
had
you saying he
during
keep breaking
those
his
periods,
word,
he
why
had
y'all keep
conversations
getting
with
into
our side.
situations with them?
And we had Normandy
It's like
forum,
y'all
you
been
know, the
anxious to leave
France,
him alone.
Germany, Ukraine, and Russia. And he broken 25 times. That's why we will never accept just ceasefire. It will not work without security guarantees. Security guarantees, maybe President is right about this document and other, but this document is not enough. Strong army is enough because his soldiers afraid, Putin's soldiers afraid of our soldiers when we're strong enough. If we are not strong enough, if we are empty, if our storage is empty,
President Zelenskyy, can you tell us what happened?
Child, did he get mad and leave and we not having a press conference? Like, what's going on? Folks in their feelings.
Zelenskyj som vinkade till pressen och var i telefon när han lämnade Vita huset, så avslutas det här besöket abrupt efter bara några timmar utan mineralavtal och även fred.
1:42 Eastern, you just saw Volodymyr Zelenskyy leaving the White House. He had a 2 o'clock press conference in the East Room. It's not happening. And I know President Trump just made a statement too.
A rather rapid exit along with the Ukrainian delegation, and President Trump, according to Truth Social, saying this is Volodymyr Zelenskyy, the president of Ukraine, disrespected the United States of America in its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace. So no mincing of words there.
Exactly. So there you go. We just saw it live before our eyes, and we have
Well,
paused
damn,
what we were
y'all.
just replaying. We're going to go back to that in just a second to show the entire rest of the meeting as you guys were watching. We had to take that live, of course, because that was Zelenskyy leaving live. So we're going to go back to the replay to watch the rest
Wow.
of the Oval Office meeting, and then even for a third time, watch the fireworks that unfolded. Before we go to that, let's go to
Hey,
Colonial
Eric.
Metals Group right there.
Listen, you gonna run it again?
freegoldguide.com.
We
That
gonna watch it
urgent
again.
retirement
Wanna see
warning,
it
of
one more
course.
time?
Having gold and silver as a backup plan, always a good idea. freegoldguide.com/RSBN.
And make sure you scan that QR code right now because of things like today. This affects markets, and you have to make sure you're protected with gold, silver, precious metals, the time valued commodity that is your best hedge against inflation. So make sure you go out and do that right now. You'll see that gold has increased it by 7,000% in its value from 1971 when the Nixon administration left the gold standard to just last year. Never dips, it continues to go up. So check this out now. If Warren Buffett's putting his money into it, it pretty much makes sense to go with Colonial Metals Group for gold, silver, and precious metals.
Let's go to Home Title Lock. And just a programming note, once again, we'll be going back to the Oval Office to show you the rest of that meeting there, as this is all brought to you by these awesome sponsors with great products. Did you know scammers can literally steal your home right from under you? The FBI calls it house stealing. It's a growing real estate scam targeting American homeowners. This is how it works. Criminals would forge your signature on one document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee, and file it with your local recorder's office. And just like that, your home title has been transferred out of your name. You got to get onto this website here. Check it out. You see it on your screen there, because at the end of the day, you can know for free, actually, if you're even part of this at all as a victim, if you're in the system here. So just double check that on the website right there online. Also, Coat Defense.
Yes, and this is a great thing for those furry friends in your life to protect them, because you don't want chemicals on them. You want only natural good things. So if you have a dog that's ever been stinky or itchy, you're going to want to hear from our new sponsor, Coat Defense. They started us as a human skincare company, but it became deeply troubled when all these toxic medications and topical ointments were actually making dogs sick. So they wanted to help people specifically with their dogs and with their horses that they might have at their home. So they have created non-toxic, quickly effective solutions to common skin and coat issues, and that not only remedy those problems, but return your dog to living that happy, healthy life. So go to order Coat Defense today, and you could do that by saving 15% if you put code RSBN in place. So that's pretty easy to remember. CoatDefense.com, code RSBN, 15% off, and they are like members of the family. And sometimes I trust dogs more than I do humans.
Man's best friend. Definitely good to have a dog and a cat, of course, out there. So, all right, great sponsors at the network, and without them, we couldn't even bring you this live coverage. So go ahead and purchase the products on there. Great products, great patriots, great sponsors right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. All right, so let's go to the rest of the meeting between President Trump,
Vladimir here we go.
Zelenskyy, and then also, if you haven't seen the fireworks that happened in the Oval Office, well, check it out.
Able to solve. But no, I appreciate your question very much. I feel I have an obligation to try and do something to stop the death.
If I can answer. Yes, if I can answer, sorry. Please.
And I do like your clothing, by the way.
Yeah, really?
Even though I think he's a great guy, by the way. But I don't know if you two like each other, but you know what? I think he's dressed.
I like this guy.
I think he's dressed beautiful.
So I have more serious things than answer on such a question.
That's
I will answer on more serious
good
question
statement.
if I can. Yeah, so please, about security guarantees and about just ceasefire. We can't just speak about ceasefire and speak. It will not work. Just ceasefire will never work, because I'm like a president. I have this experience, and not only me. Ukraine before my presidency, from the 2014, Putin broken 25 times. 25 times he broken his own signature. 25 times he broken ceasefire.
But he never broke to me. He never broke.
No, you were the president. You were the president during.
He never broke to me.
In 2016, you've been the president, Mr. President. You've been the president, but he had, of course, not with you, but he had during those periods, he had conversations 25 times. He broke